So guys, welcome back to a podcast brought to you by FBA Sing and the team behind FBA Sing, me and Sunny. Today we've got a very special podcast for you. It's our first podcast and we're releasing it in Christmas time, the perfect time to start a side hustle. Now, the guy we've got with us today is Rakesh. You might have seen him in our Discord. We've posted some success photos with him. He does purely wholesale, okay? So we want to get an insight into wholesale and how new members or current members who do OA, A2A and RA can convert over to wholesale. And we want to hear just a bit more about your journey, why you started wholesale, where you're going to go in the future, and how you've got to this point today. So a bit background about Rakesh. Does wholesale. I think last month you hit £15,000 in net profit just from wholesale across how many ASINs?
I've got about 20 ASINs, but out of that, probably 25% are what I'm replanning all the time.
Perfect. So some serious numbers, and to be doing £15,000 profit within your first year on Amazon.
Yeah.
So within a 12-month period, he's actually got to a stage where he's making £15,000 profit in 1 month is phenomenal. So we're going to dive in and actually find out a bit more information, well, a lot more information of who you are, why we've been posting you, and a bit more about you and how we get to know how to get involved.
Perfect.
And what you're doing, and the secret sauce, bro. That's what we want today.
I only can tell you a little bit of
secrets behind
Can't tell you too much.
the success.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's go back before you started FBA and what actually got you into Amazon initially, or you can go before that. What were you doing before, and kind of walk us through how you got here.
Perfect. Yeah. Where to start? I could go on for ages. But as a little kid, I would always say that I've always been kind of an entrepreneur, let's say. The reason I say that is I come from a retail background. My mum and dad have grew up with convenience stores in the retail space. My dad used to be a market trader. So obviously, naturally, I've been brought into that world. So obviously, for young, a lot of people used to sell sweets in school. So I was that kid. So I always used to get them off my parents. Yeah. I used to go to, let's say, supermarkets, find deals. And then obviously, naturally, you build your list in school. 100%. And that's what I did. Yeah. Sold that for a while, for about a couple of years. And then...
so you didn't get caught?
Plenty of times, but I had little tactics how to get out of it.
Cheeky locker.
That's it. Not just one. I had them dotted around the school. So every time I got caught, only one got raided. Not a lot.
Good.
But yeah, it kind of started from there, from a very young age. And then that kind of got me into the world of thinking business. Yeah. But obviously my parents always wanted me to go to do academic education and go down that route, having traditional Indian parents. They just want you to do the school. Yeah. Following that, when I got into, I think, secondary school, my dad actually imported stock, MP3 players from China. So he never used to let us play around or mess around during summer holidays. He always wanted us to be active. So we either let's say working in the shop, paper around, again from my parents. Yeah. And then one day he just planted this box of MP3 players and told me and my brother, he said, sell them. So me and my brother looking at it going, how are we going to do this?
How old was you then?
I must have been about 15, 16.
Wow. Yeah.
So what year is this?
15, 16. I'm 34 now, so about 19 years ago. Yeah, 19 years.
So it's very different.
So back then,
2004.
So the platform that I used then was eBay. So eBay was relatively new. Amazon really wasn't what it is today.
Exactly.
And so obviously eBay, and I took a few photos using a flip phone back in the day, the very first camera phones.
Motorola.
Yeah. I don't know if it was a Motorola. I can't remember what it was. Took a few pictures. Didn't obviously have to edit it back then. Knew nothing about how to optimize an eBay listing, and I just basically
very different.
Just put MP3 player, pink, green, whatever it is, separate listings for each one, and just started selling them. And within a couple of days, I started selling 30, 40 units a day. My dad ordered 2,000 units, and they all came separate. The MP3 was separate, the plastic casing was separate, the insert, so you had to build it all yourself.
Yeah.
And then so then sold that during summer holidays, and even through while I was in school. So I got excited. I was like, wow, I'm making money. So I'm in school doing work, and then coming back home and packing all orders. And obviously, as a young kid, you get a little buzz. Don't you? You come back and you've got 30 orders to pack. You're like, it's not about the money. It's I've got actual business.
Yeah, yeah.
So I started selling, and in the first month, I think I made about £1,500 profit. Yeah.
Wow.
That is crazy.
At the age of 15?
Yeah, yeah.
Wow.
No, it was about 15 or 16.
15
yeah,
or 16, yeah.
It was just
the
changing
craziest thing is, that amount of money
to me then was
would,
a lot of
even
money.
now, would be like 5 times with the rate of inflation, which is crazy amount of money.
Of course.
Yeah.
Which is,
Yeah.
as a 15-year-old, 2004, that is wicked.
Exactly. And then the second month, I doubled it, 3,000. And I was like, wow. And then my dad ordered more in, because obviously the profits I made, he just reordered from
Yeah.
China.
Yeah.
And then started making, and £3,000 again. And then literally just sold all that, and I went to my dad, I want to leave school. He went, no. I went, why? Because I knew, it automatically I knew this is going to work. Okay, there obviously was little failures here and there where my listing got taken down and things like that. But I'm quite on it at the most of the time. I'm just like kind of proactive and thinking, if this takes taken down,
100%.
what was the reason why? There wasn't any kind of like authenticity things or you selling fake stuff.
Yeah.
It was like little things like someone's complained about your product not working or something like that. So it's just basically making sure. So what I did then was made sure every time I packed it, I turned the MP3 player on.
Yeah.
I charged it a bit, see if it worked. If it worked, because it had a demo track on it. So I just made sure it worked.
You just quality checked every item.
Yeah, so before I didn't quality check it, but this one, and then when I was quality checking, I did find the odd few not working. So I sifted that out, and then next thing, it was fine. And then, and then obviously when my dad told me go back to school, I just kind of like, was a bit disheartened more than anything else.
Yeah.
I was just like,
You had a taste of that dough.
yeah, exactly. That's it. That's because I did it in school, selling sweets.
Yeah.
I knew what I was doing. Then obviously doing something online, and that's where I think my vision of the digital space, let's call it,
Yeah.
came to light. I was just like, wow, you can actually make money online.
100%.
Yeah.
And as you said, 2004, internet was relatively new. I remember obviously when the internet was dial-up, when you had to use your phone line and things like that.
So I was only 4 years of age then, so I'm guessing internet back then wasn't as crazy as it is right now.
No. The power you've got now, 10 times. I feel like I've lived 2 generations. Lived the generation where it was like relatively new. Even but probably was big back then at that time.
Yeah.
But compared to now, it's like the opportunity you've got and the resources and networks you got. It's unbelievable.
Yeah.
I would take as much opportunity and jump on it as you can, I would say.
Well, I think the first iPhone came out in 2008.
So I've seen that one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that just shows you. That was
Yeah,
before the iPhone.
It was fat, it was smaller.
Yeah.
And obviously the technology, the LCD screen, everything was
100%.
different.
So that's 16 years of age.
Mhm.
So what was the transition after that?
So-
Obviously,
yeah,
did
so obviously
did you
after
go
the-
down the education.
Yeah, so
route?
after that, obviously did my A-levels, GCSEs, A-levels, and then obviously went into uni because my dad wanted me to go to uni. So
Yeah.
just to get a degree, obviously I'm a natural creative person. I did a lot of art, DT. Even though I like sciences, I was never good at sciences. So I went down to, I've got 2 degrees in architecture. So I'm an architect by profession.
Oh wow.
Yeah, so I've got undergrad and a master's in
That's
art.
brilliant.
I've
Yeah.
known you for quite a while now. I never would have guessed that. You
Yeah.
know. Fair play.
But I've actually never practiced. And again, maybe it's a blessing in disguise. Maybe it was like a sign not to go into that space because at the time there was a massive construction recession. Remember when all that about...
About 2007, 2008.
yeah, when all the market crashed,
Yeah.
housing market crashed. So obviously the jobs for architects were very limited.
Yeah.
So again, disheartened, studied 6 years, got 2 degrees and can't even get a job.
Yeah.
I was just like, what the hell? So then, by chance, one of my mates actually opened a digital marketing agency. And obviously he just approached me because he knew I was a designer. So at that time, what I did a bit of freelance work. So obviously went for interview. He obviously knew I was a good designer. And I did basic like graphic design for online, like website designs, graphics for social media and things like that. And I got a flavour of money again. I was like, not even had a degree in this.
Yeah.
Not got no qualifications. And I'm getting paid £100 an hour.
So you was doing this in secondary school and college?
No, this was after uni. So you've got to remember,
okay,
I've
yeah,
just
yeah,
been to
yeah.
uni 6
Yeah, yeah.
years. And then after that, can't even get a job.
Yeah.
So this disheartened.
So about 2012.
2013. 2009 I started. So yeah, 2013
Yeah.
I finished, and then 2015 I finished my masters.
Got you.
So after my masters,
Yeah.
I did it. 2015 this is, and yeah, so I went and done freelance work. I was still applying for architect positions, and then the more I kept getting into digital space, I got offered a full-time job. So then it was a thing was like, just studied 6 years and get a job in architecture, or shall I go into the digital space? And then my head clicked, going, well, you were successful here. Well, you did well in here when you was young, selling online. You wanted to do it. Why don't you have a look at the digital space?
Yeah.
So this was like, and then obviously I went to the guys who I was working for, my boss at the time, and said, look, I don't want to be a designer. So I used that. I was like, think outside the box. If I'm going to go into digital space, let me learn something. So he goes, what do you want to learn? I go, well, if I'm a designer, I'd rather go and do an architecture because I just studied that. So he goes, all right, I'll teach you marketing. So he taught me like a little bit about pay-per-click back then, which I picked it up. It's totally different now.
Massive.
I don't even know where to start now. But again, it was very basic. Like I was using Google Ads, so it was quite straightforward at the time. But I didn't have the love for it.
Yeah.
I'm not a person who likes that kind of data. Even though I love how to read data, just don't know. So then I got taught how to do SEO, search engine optimization, how to naturally organically rank pages and websites on Google. Again, probably wasn't my thing. Naturally morphed into doing project management. So it was like basically managing the team basically. And then that gave me insight to virtual assistants. So the company I was working for had about 10 employees. But overall, including virtual assistant, it was 40. And then I realised he was like, well, I was like, where are you getting all these virtual assistants from? And again, it was just online. And I was just like paying 10 for the price of a salary in the person in the UK.
So
and
if you just want to say, what is a virtual assistant?
So virtual assistant is basically an employee, but it doesn't physically have to be in your office. So it could be based anywhere in the world and they offer a service. That service could be anything, paid advertising, digital marketer.
Basically a work-at-home job, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly, yeah. And 9 out of 10 times you get a lot of specialists outside the UK who probably do the work and quality of work a lot better because maybe obviously their conditions around there are poor. They obviously have families to fend for themselves. So you naturally get people who hungrier, more skilled.
It's a difference. It's because it's not that they want to; it's that they need to.
Yeah, exactly.
They need
so when
to,
they get offered,
do the job correctly.
let's say, 500 quid for a job, and their natural salary over there might be 200 quid for the month. Yeah. They're gonna jump on it.
Yeah, they need to perform.
Perform. So they make sure they perform. They work over the hours, make sure the job's done. So that's what I did.
So basically, a virtual assistant. I think typically from the Philippines, Pakistan,
India,
kind of third world countries. People go there because living is lower cost of living.
Yeah.
So it's actually cheaper to employ them as they have a
and not only that is, believe it or not, technology outside the UK is a lot. It's not as advanced as let's say Europe. Let's say, for example, in India, the developers over there are 10 times more advanced than people here.
Yeah.
Because that's the nature of the hub over there in terms of technology and digital space. It's just phenomenal.
Yeah. 100%. 100%. So you found out about virtual assistants quite early on.
Yeah.
Okay. So you're working for the data marketing company.
Yeah.
So
digital marketing.
Sorry. What was after that then? So you had a taste of VAs now, which is actually quite weird because we were talking about VAs the other week.
So funny enough, my boss had to turn around and says, I want to pull you to the side, and I thought, oh, he's going to sack me now. I was like, just got into a good position, going to get sacked. And he just went, you're not made out to be an employee. That's what he said to me.
Yeah.
And again, that kind of...
That's weird from your boss as well.
Yeah, exactly.
They usually press.
But the funny thing was, on the side, because I was like maybe about 8 months in, my dad always used to push me going, get some clients on the side.
Yeah.
Not as in doing something sly. He goes, you've learnt all these skills, you know how to do everything. When you don't have to be an expert in every kind of field of what you're doing in marketing. But if you got a job, if you get a freelance work, you're not doing it. At first I was scared. I was like, is it in my contract? Is it this? And then I thought, hang on a minute. If I do it outside of hours, then I'm not doing anything wrong, am I? So then obviously I got a first couple of clients because my dad, obviously owning a retail convenience store, naturally gets customers in. So build traders, tradesmen, 100%. Everything, who always want more business. So he got me a couple of clients. And then obviously I started putting the feelers out there as well, saying, I'm doing this. If you want to do... I kind of went down the route. I kind of seen what was profitable for me. And what worked for me was more like web design, branding. So that's like logo design and stuff like that. And also development. Because development, all it was once I've got all the design templates, I just get a developer to develop it. So again, I was just using my skills that I learned.
So basically you would sell and then outsource the work to a degree.
Yeah, I was just middleman in basically.
That's what a lot of people doing is a great model.
Well, that's essentially what you're doing with Amazon. If we think about it, you're buying from a store or a wholesaler.
Yeah.
you're buying it and then you're selling it. So you're just middleman in it and then taking the profit.
Basically, oh,
That's what it is.
Amazon's the face, really.
Yeah, exactly. You've got two forms of sources and you're just putting them together. That's all it is.
You're the fuel to the car.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
It's a good one, though. And so then I got a couple of clients, and then what I did was I started my own company on the side.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, started my own company, and then I didn't actually leave. I actually got fired, but for a good reason. So they actually caught it, like basically seeing on my...
You're nicking their clients?
No, I was actually nicking the clients. I actually gave them a client, and I was getting it, like basically how I kind of transitioned out was I gave them a couple of clients, and they would only give me 10% revenue. And it wasn't greed or being selfish. I was like, well, I've worked hard. I could have done this myself.
Yeah,
Do you get what I mean?
Yeah.
So basically after that, I built my own website. Well, I got a virtual assistant to build me a site. I did the branding and all that myself because I'm a designer, so saved some costs there. And I'm kind of like very particular about detail. So just when I get someone to do it, they sometimes won't do it. So I end up spending too much time telling them what to do. I go, I might as well just do it myself. And that's it. And then went away for one weekend to Ireland, and I got a call off one of the directors saying, are you home? I said, no, I'm away. He goes, well, when you come back, we need to have a chat. And I went, oh, God, what's happening? In my head straight away, getting sacked here.
Yeah.
Got back to work, and then they all pulled me in a room and go, Rakesh, you know what this is about? Don't you? I went, pretty much have a good idea. And guess what happened? My boss at the time shook my hand and said, I don't blame you.
Yeah.
And
he said you're not made to be an employee,
yeah, exactly.
are you?
So he shook my hand. We're still friends today. So we didn't fall out or leave on bad terms.
That was a good person then.
Yeah, exactly. So that kind of motivated me, seeing people see sometimes if you do good or someone sees value in you, they'll push you to do it.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, and sometimes now and again I'd still bump into him, have a chat, go round. He's around my his office is around the corner from my office.
Yeah.
So sometimes I just pop in for a coffee, just have a chat, and I've seen him evolve, his company evolve, and what he's done, and kind of say, fair play on you.
Yeah.
And if it wasn't probably for him, I probably might not have took the step, because most bosses probably kick and scream and
most definitely,
effing a blind at you for doing things on the side.
So what I actually gathered then is that you joined this company.
Yeah.
You learnt a lot about the company's
space.
job, basically, and then you just learnt all that theory and took it to yourself.
Yeah, that's it. That's it.
It?
And then obviously, look, it was going to have something, let's say, a secured salary, knowing how much you're getting every month.
You got to take the leap of faith, though.
But then obviously, I always had support with my family.
Yeah.
And obviously, at the time, what I always kind of give a bit of value is if you've got no responsibilities, and I mean by you don't have family, you don't have kids, you don't have a lot of
financial.
Say a lot of outgoings, and you've got very small minimum outgoings. I would take that leap of faith, because it will always pays off. And obviously, I've just told you from a young age, when I had no responsibilities, obviously a little bit more stress now, because obviously you're fending for yourself. But obviously when you're younger, and I was selling MP3 players, I had no stress. I didn't think about paying bills, because my dad and everything was doing that. But you're living under your parents' roof then. But now obviously I've kind of evolved into that mindset, still going, well, I still obviously don't have any responsibility. What I mean by that, I have bills and expenses, but I'm not married, don't have kids. So I can take that bit of, I've got more hunger and more drive in me, and going, I can push this now.
Take more risks.
Exactly.
Life,
Like if I had a wife and kids, that might have been different. I might not have done, because obviously I've got support people around me.
Yeah.
But now I'm just like literally scaling, throwing everything I can into my Amazon business.
Perfect. So,
and
shall we? So sorry, were you going to say something?
Yeah, I know that gone off a little bit, but I'm just saying that. Started my own marketing company, got a few clients, and again, a bit of selfish in me came in again. I was what I kind of seen with my eyes, going, I was good at what I did, so I was making other people more richer. I was making their businesses grow, and I was getting good service, the service fees. But then I was just like, if I can do that for someone else, why can't I do it for a business of mine?
You're working on someone else's dream.
Yeah. So then what happened was, the guy that I was working, so I used to work and went into the partnership with a developer.
Yeah.
So
from the same company.
So my company, I wanted my mates. I brought him in as basically a director, give him shares in my company, and said, you just basically work on all the development work that comes in. Yeah. I was basically the guy who went and got the sales. I got sales background, and I don't have sales background, but I'm good at sales, let's say. So I was going and get all the clients in, go to all the meetings. I'm kind of a face-to-face person. I don't like sitting in a room. I like to be out and about. Like a little kid, or like a wheeler dealer kind of thing, but not in a bad way. Do you get what I mean? And yes, I got all the clients in. Any clients that I needed to look after, I looked after. But I did more kind of client management, because that's what I did in the marketing space. And then obviously any development work, passed it off to the guy I was working with, and then any other work of freelance. Oh, I had freelancers there. I still use some of them freelancers today, and it's profitable, but it wasn't making me the money. And what I did with the money and income I was getting from the company, I started my first private label on the side. So actually, and again, it was all done by virtual assistants.
This podcast is brought to you by FBAVAULT, the #1 side hustle platform in the UK. If you are looking to make an extra £200 this year, this month, just to add to your income, FBAVAULT will teach you how to sell on Amazon and how to get one step closer to leaving your 9 to 5. So guys, we're back after a small little break. And Rakesh, we were just about to get on your Amazon story, and you mentioned about private label.
Yeah.
So take it away and let us know where and what year we're talking about and how you actually entered the Amazon marketplace, because all I know is online arbitrage and retail arbitrage, where your story is a little bit different.
Yeah.
So just talk us through how you started and what actually made you start where you started.
So yeah, just going back into it, it's probably about, I reckon, back end of 2017, 2018. At the time, I was obviously running my own marketing company at that point, and I had about maybe 10 clients between retainers, like one-off, like jobs and stuff like that. And again, my dad always says, invest your money. So I was like, at the time, I didn't have money to invest into like property or anything like that. So my first thing that goes always in the back of my mind going, I wish I did Amazon. I wish I did eBay. So that's when I went, all right, I'm going to do Amazon again. And then what I do, obviously with the skills I've learned, obviously how to use virtual assistants, I went and done my first private label. Instead of doing OA, RA.
So before you was actually doing eBay, so when did you actually start Amazon?
About back end of 2017, 2018.
So that was
so I did it. So the income I was making from the digital marketing company, obviously I said had no responsibilities, had no big expenses, so I had a lot of money.
So nowadays, traditional approach when you were talking about Amazon is your retail arbitrage and online arbitrage.
Yeah.
But for yourself, you actually started looking into
but there's no. I did a little bit of OARA when I was, let's say, in uni.
Yeah.
But it didn't work for me.
Yeah.
The reason is because I had a small credit card, and to be honest, it didn't interest me, and I didn't have the knack for it. Wholesale wasn't a thing back then, so it was basically arbitrage or private label. Yeah. That was all it was. So had I obviously knew all the skills in how to source virtual assistants, I went, all right, I'm going to do private label. And I did it across 2 markets then. And bear in mind, Amazon was very small then. So it had...
So just let us know, what is private label?
So private label is essentially, you get a product,
yeah,
you put your own name on it, and you just sell it as that brand.
Yeah.
So
did you go and build the product?
No, so it's pre-existing products. Let's say in China, let's say, for example, a baby bottle.
Yeah.
The shape of it and the product and the material is all the same. Yeah. All a company's done is put their name on it. So I could go and find, let's say, for example, and I have done it when I did it back in 2018, let's say. Do you know the brand Timmy Toppy?
Yeah, Tommy Tippy.
Oh, Tommy Toppy, yeah. I actually, back then, found the manufacturer where that was getting made.
Oh, wow.
So I could get the OEM products without the brand.
Ah.
Yeah. So that gave me an insight, because I was like, then I looked on the internet, okay, this bottle sells for X. I can buy it for this, and look how much profit margin is between them. Yeah, it was like 300%, 400%.
All it is marketing, though, isn't it?
That's all it is. And someone's put a brand on it, and then just leverage it by marketing.
Yeah,
that's all it is. And they grew a big brand at the end of the day. So then, obviously, that got my head turning, got excited again. I had like a little buzz, as you said, dopamine hit. Yeah. And then again, I've always been interested in the baby niche. So I did my first private label in the baby niche, and maybe because I've got, again, a little bit of experience, I, from a young age, have been surrounded by 2 younger sisters and helped them like grow up and do all the things. So kind of knew a little bit about little things.
Do you know, just to add on to that as well, I don't know if you knew this at the time, but baby feeding, which is bottles, is actually 5% VAT.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Which means, obviously, as VAT, because you just got VAT registered recently, right?
Yeah.
As VAT reg sellers, baby feeding is 5% VAT. Normal products are 20% VAT.
20%, yeah.
But that 5% will actually increase your margins another 50%,
50%, yeah.
Which is crazy.
Exactly.
So that niche is actually fantastic.
So obviously at that time I wasn't VAT registered, and I didn't start a company or anything. I did everything just through my name. And what I did is basically, I basically found a criteria. I said, okay, I want a product this much weight, this in size, can fit X many in a box. And it was relatively cheap to buy because obviously I didn't have tens of £1,000s then.
Yeah.
But at that time I had about £5,000 of capital to just kind of invest into something.
You know, you said about the box.
Yeah.
When you said you could fit X amount in a box,
Yeah.
is that how you source normally? Is by like how many you could fit in a box, and then you work out your margins off that?
Yeah, so relatively, let's say I source a wholesale products now, I tend to kind of hand, and again, this is a little bit of like a secret sauce, let's call it.
Yeah.
I find items that are lightweight that can fit in my hand, because you can think about it, if you've got a box that's 60 centimetres by 40 by 40, and you've got a product that you can hold in your hand, how many can you fit in a box?
Yeah.
And then you think about your shipping cost is going to
Yeah.
be relatively low. It's within under 23 kilos.
And storage.
And storage,
Yeah.
the lighter the product, and I've like most of my high best sellers are high ticket products.
Yeah.
But if you see the weight of it, if you think high ticket products, you're going to think big bulky thing.
Yeah.
It's not. It's the size of my hand. It's lightweight.
Another thing to add on to that as well is the new low price FBA scheme that they have
Yeah.
going on. Is that if you, I think it's a certain weight the product needs to be, and if you sell it below £10, Amazon will give you less fees on the
Yeah.
product, which is also a benefit.
Yeah,
of selling a low
obviously
item.
I used to do it when it was the S&L scheme.
Yeah.
Obviously,
That's
they're
the
good.
one, like,
But obviously the products I sell now, obviously are a lot over like 30, 40
yeah.
quid.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I think
yeah.
your average sale price is about 40 quid, isn't it?
40 quid, yeah.
Which,
35, 40
which
pounds.
is quite high.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's good.
Yeah, and so back to the private label. Basically, what I did was, again, I just used my head. It's at the end of the day, Amazon's not hard. It's more,
not.
it's logic at the end of the day, and it's very straightforward if you kind of just sit down and think. And at this time, didn't really watch YouTube. I just thought I was gonna do it myself.
Yeah.
Like no courses, nothing. And it was a success and a failure at the same time. So what I mean by a success was, I basically got virtual assistants. So I basically wrote down a criteria saying I want a product within this.
Yeah.
How I didn't know in my head I was going to sell in the UK marketplace and the US marketplace, purely because I know UK, I'm based in the UK, so I can ship everything.
And you can actually see your product.
Yeah,
as
I can
well.
see your product. And then the US is because Amazon in the US is the biggest marketplace in the world.
Yeah.
If you can sell in that marketplace, you're making big money. So what I did is found virtual assistant to basically, I worked out the cost of getting all the resources, the tools, learning how to use the tools, etc. And I thought, kind of put that and said, well, my time is worth more than this. So I went and got a virtual assistant. I figured out all the tools that you needed to source products. So at the time,
You said 2018 you did
Yeah.
this. So what did you use? Because obviously now we use SAS, Keeper. You obviously use Jungle Scout for
Yeah.
wholesale. What did you use then, or was it the similar?
there was one called Camel, which
Yeah.
is a little bit like Keeper.
Ah.
Yeah, and I think basically I can't remember, but I'm sure Helium 10 was out back then as
Yeah.
well.
Yeah.
But I didn't actually use it myself. I basically found a virtual assistant. I said, these are the tools that you need to make sure you have, and if you have these tools, I basically interview you. So I found basically give the criteria. Said this is what niche I'm going into. This is what I'm looking for. And then what I did is basically I took 2-3 virtual assistants on. It only cost me 50 quid a person to source me 3 products. So I paid 150 quid.
Was that per month or per
No, just
product sourcing?
per one-off job. I always do it. I don't do retainers. I just do one-off jobs. When it comes to virtual assistants, you can kind of do monthly retainers.
Yeah.
But for me, it's always worked that here's one price. This is the job. Get that job and you get paid.
I think a job price is always
Yeah.
better.
Yeah,
better
personally,
to
it's
go
always
down.
worked for me. And then
Yeah.
there's no
Basically
messing
a
around.
contractor fee, isn't it?
That's it.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
if
yeah.
that's successful, you can later on put them on a retainer or whatever you want to do.
Yeah.
But I always do one-off jobs because if it's a fail, you're not promised them anything.
So
Yeah.
obviously you've appointed these VAs now.
Yeah.
You've gave them the task to do something. What are some of the tasks that they actually had to do for you?
So all of them. So I actually rarely did anything. The only thing I did was, and I like doing it, is negotiate with suppliers and manufacturers.
Yeah.
So what I did is found a virtual assistant to find me the products within my criteria. I basically, obviously through marketing, there's a technique saying when you're doing private label, for example, and marketing, let's say you're a company wanting to rank on Google.
Yeah.
One of my ex-boss, directors said, no point reinventing the wheel. That's with anything in life.
It's
He
true.
says, take the top 5 listings. So go on Google, let's say you was looking for, I don't know, hair combs. Look at the top 5 company ranking for hair combs and then reverse engineer them. So I did that, applied that same method that I got taught and used that knowledge and said, okay, at the time I was selling baby pillows.
Yeah.
Yeah, very lightweight. Things that parents would buy. It's a necessity and it's relatively cheap. So, and then the other thing is I always sell things that really get returned. like you got to think about it. There's no point doing e-commerce and getting thousands of returns, is there?
Most definitely.
Yeah, exactly.
It can affect your profits hugely.
Oh yeah, 100%. You might think you're making money, and then all of a sudden you get a load of returns. So what I did is a baby pillow. 9 out of 10 times, if it's like 15, 20 quid, they're gonna be like, oh, I can't be bothered returning that.
Exactly.
Once it's opened,
so you kind of went the lower value.
Yeah.
And a baby pillow, like this baby's born.
Yeah,
I
exactly.
don't even know how many times a day.
I don't know that, but it's an evergreen niche.
Yeah.
Every day of the month, year, babies are being born. So again, I thought long term going, it's not a seasonal product. Let me do something that I can grow a brand.
Is that why you went in the baby niche?
Yeah, I went in the baby niche, yeah. And basically, I found a virtual assistant, found me the product. I then basically found all the listings and then give those listings to another virtual assistant, extract me the data. Okay, do me the listing page, the titles, the images, blah, blah, blah. And basically got them to do it. And then I got another virtual assistant to basically, who was a bit more, let's say, an Amazon marketing expert. And he basically ripped all the keywords and merged all 5 listings into one. So that's what he did.
So what you done was that one VA complete the task and you passed that task on.
Yeah.
To
So what
VA
I always like, my theory was don't give VA too much work to do.
No, you can't overload them.
So then basically I was doing, so I've got one task, one VA who was a specialist in that area.
Yeah.
So it worked for me.
Yeah.
So I ended up having 4 or 5 VAs, but some of them weren't long term. It was just a one-off job.
And they were all doing what they're best at.
Yeah, exactly.
Which is important.
So one was obviously product sourcing, one was to basically create me a listing.
Yeah.
One was extracting all the keywords, and then I got someone to do the PPC ad.
Yeah.
That's it. I didn't do any because I had the knowledge of marketing and what I've learned then how to manage VAs. I just structured it like that. And
you basically had the vision.
Yeah.
And you orchestrated.
That's it.
The plan.
The plan
of how to.
Yeah, and then what I did was I basically went to the manufacturers on Alibaba at the time. I know there's obviously different marketplaces at the moment, like Alibaba, and then just basically, again, one of my dad's mates taught me how to make sure you're actually speaking to a right manufacturer, because a lot of manufacturers on Alibaba, believe it or not, there's more middlemen in there. So you might be thinking that you're speaking to a manufacturer, but it's not. It's a middleman who's got a connection to. So what happens is you're getting a price, but you're getting a price with their commission on it.
Yeah.
To get it. So let's say you're all like buying something for $5. Reality is the cost of that is probably $2, but the guy who's displaying himself as a manufacturer is creaming some more profits. Do you get what I mean?
So how do you go around that then? How do I actually try get in contact with the manufacturer? And
so when you go, what happens is when you go onto Alibaba, there's filters. So like trade assurance, how long they've been operating, look at the reviews, and just do a lot of analysis. Don't go for the cheapest one straight away because
just general due diligence.
Just really, that's it. Do your DD. The better you do your DD, the better manufacturers you get. And then sometimes what happens is you might get a middleman, and then you'll figure that's a middleman. And then what happens is when you get a pro forma invoice, you can sell straight away. And then what you go is like, I'm not happy with that price.
Yeah.
And then you bat them down. And once you start batting them down, then you know, okay, there's a move. And then you'll figure out there's a middle ground for price. And then you know for that product, your pricing is around that a range. So then when you go back and get Alibaba's search history, you'll go, okay, any around this price might be actually genuine manufacturers, but they're not getting the exposure because you're getting these big boys who are pretending to be manufacturers taking over. So found a product, got a couple of samples sent to me. I obviously be having a design background. I did all the design myself, the logo, the box designs. Obviously, you have to purchase your own barcodes. Again, I learned all that myself quickly online. Back then, obviously, online's like there's too much information now online. No matter what you want to do, but over there was quite specific at the time. So there's only a few people doing it, and most of it was just articles. So what I did was just quickly read it and then went, right, I'm going to buy this barcode from this website. It's like £5 for about 20 barcodes, and they're unique barcodes to me. And then once I got the listing, create the listing, already had the samples, happy with it, did my first order, 1,000 units, sent half them, 500 units to America, 500 units to UK, and basically got the guy to do the PPC campaign. And then I sold in the UK marketplace, and then I thought, let me go outside of UK. So I basically did all the European markets. At the time it was France, Italy, Germany, Spain, and what else was it? There's 5 then. Spain, France, Germany, Italy.
That's 5.
Oh, is it?
You got 5 fingers up.
I think so. Was that 5? Yeah. Was that 5?
Yeah, probably was 5.
I don't know if it is, but there was 5 at the time. There's obviously a lot more now. Is it Sweden and everything?
Yeah.
It's grown ever since I did. Launched it, bought the product for £5. So £5 it cost me to my door.
That's crazy.
Yeah, $5
with shipping.
Yeah, with like DDP shipping and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So basically, DDP shipping is basically all the import duties and everything they're paid. If you don't ask for DDP shipping, you're going to be paying a lot of import duties. And the next thing is, and that's whether that's wholesale or
I learnt this on your introduction call.
That's free source. That is.
Yeah.
DPD.
If you DDP.
DDP.
Yeah.
DDP.
Yeah. I didn't actually know about that until the introduction.
If you don't ask for that, the manufacturer will skim you, or the wholesale will skim you.
So what actually is it?
It basically is a type of shipping that includes all the import duties, taxes, fees. So when it comes to your door,
it's already included.
It's all included. Yeah. You're not basically slammed with another bill to say. And a lot of manufacturers and wholesalers will try and avoid that because they have to pay you.
Exactly.
So they obviously skims their profit margins.
My cousin was in this scenario. We ordered the product from China, and he actually didn't receive, is it the DDP you call it, the bill until a week later.
Yeah.
And he was like, I've just been charged £500 for what? I didn't even know how to pay
Custom
this.
charges, probably. Yeah, that's what it is, yeah. Custom charges and tax. So, obviously did that, and then I was actually reselling it in the US for $30.
That is crazy.
Yeah, and in the UK I was selling for £25. Yeah.
Wow.
And then obviously I had a marketing guy, and what I did was the first one I gave him £500. I said, run my PPC campaign. Here's £500 for the first month. And then what I said to him, I go, if you do well, I'm going to give you a split of the profits. I'm going to basically take you what's it called. I think I give him between 5% at the start, and then it can go up to 10, depend on the performance. Yeah. And he obviously realised going straight away. The first month, within the first 2 weeks of launching, I sold out in the US.
That's crazy.
Wow. 500 units, yeah. But just over 2 weeks
within within 2 weeks?
Yes.
That is impressive.
Yeah. And it was like, let's say I bought a $5, it cost me, let's say, £5 per acquisition. So like, and obviously after all the fees, I was making a third of it. So if I sold it for $30, I was making $10 per sale.
Profit.
That's gross profit without tax.
Yeah.
So that's £5,000. Do you get what I mean?
Wow.
$5,000. In the UK, it was a bit slower because it's a smaller market, and the competition was a little bit higher because other people were selling the same product, just different name. I still actually got 200 units of that in my house today, believe it or not. And the reason I say that is that product was successful and a failure at the same time is because it just was bad luck, is other people were selling it in the US, and believe it or not, the product listing actually got taken. Every person who was selling it, or every seller who was selling that product, the listing got taken down across the whole world. The reason is a baby died, not because of my fault.
Yeah.
It was just a product that probably wasn't tested properly.
Yeah.
Or with any product, any baby product, it always says on the box, don't leave your baby unattended.
Yeah.
I was just about to say, it's probably not the product. It's probably
it's just bad luck. Bad luck. It was exactly.
So,
and obviously.
Yeah, just to rewind quickly there, you mentioned that there was different people on the listing. So obviously you've sourced this product. Are you selling it on a listing that's already been created?
No, I created my own listing. So private label is you can't use someone else's listing if you've got a private label.
How comes your listing got taken down then?
No, everyone's did who was selling the same product.
Everyone's did, yeah.
So it doesn't matter where I think in the retail stores that were getting sold, everyone had to take it down because there was articles flying around in the US.
So you're flying in the US.
Yeah.
You brought it over to the UK. It's doing all right.
Well, I did it at the same time.
And then within 2 weeks, the article came out.
No. So in the US, it got sold out.
Yeah.
And it was another 2 weeks after that. So let's say a month in.
Yeah.
While I was selling in the UK, my listing kept taking on, and I didn't know why. And then Amazon just sent me this article link saying this has happened in the US. Amazon don't want to be associated with this, so we're going to take out all the sellers. Obviously, I was lumbered then. And luckily, I didn't send all my stock. I was just sending it like, let's say, 200 at a time.
Yeah.
So obviously, I had 300.
Which is crazy because I don't think anyone does that.
And then I was about to put my second order in. So all the money I made, it was about 10 grand. I put made back. Because in the UK, even though I was selling for £25, my profit margin was higher. So I was making $10, which is probably at that time £9. Here I was making £12. So I sold like 300 units. And didn't get one refund, believe it or not.
Wow.
It was mad. Yeah, it was mad. Not one refund.
You made about 3.5k profit.
Yeah.
In the UK.
UK was a bit more. It was like £12.
That's crazy.
Yeah, and then the US, I made $5,000.
Yeah.
Basically, and then obviously I got all the cost of the thing. So I had about 10 grand again.
Yeah.
I was like, happy days. I'm going to throw it all back in.
Yeah.
And that article came, and I was about to pull the plug to pay. I got that article listed, and that kind of was soul destroying. What I should have done is go, take it on the chin. Let's start again.
Yeah,
But
yeah,
got
yeah.
scared and then went back into the like 9 to 5 again.
Especially when you're doing it yourself.
Yeah,
Yeah.
You don't really have a support.
yeah,
Otherwise, you probably would have.
yeah, exactly.
You probably would have thought, forget it, I
Yeah.
will go again.
Yeah,
Get
yeah.
back on the
What I
bus.
should have done is because I
Yeah.
made profit and I still had the profit, I should have went, let me go and find another product.
Yeah,
But I didn't.
definitely.
But it is soul
Yeah,
destroying. if-
Yeah,
if
I just kind of, let's say, shit myself and go,
Yeah.
okay, I've made money here. And in my head, I was thinking big numbers then going, I've got one product, I'm going to now test another product. And I thought I'm going to have, let's say, I had a vision within first 12 months, try and get 3 private label products going.
Yeah.
If each one was giving me 5 grand in profit, that's 15 grand a
But
month.
to add on that as well, you was
Yeah.
fairly new to Amazon as well. I
Yeah,
think
but it
in
wasn't
that
as
first
big, so
year.
it was quite relatively easier doing a private label
Yeah.
back then than it is today. Because obviously,
I think Prime today is crazy.
Yeah.
Everyone knows what Prime is.
Yeah, exactly.
Probably everyone has an Amazon account.
yeah, well, what do you think when you want to buy something? Doesn't matter what it is. Amazon.
I think everyone
Yeah.
does when it just randomly takes some money out your bank account
Yeah,
as well.
yeah,
So it's
yeah.
true.
Yeah.
Everyone
has
literally has
it. Yeah.
Prime. Yeah.
And paying $5.99 or $6.99 a month to get next day delivery
Convenience is
every
king.
single day.
Yeah.
It's a no-brainer. So
Yeah,
Amazon
yeah.
have actually really
Same day delivery.
capitalized on the market there.
It's
Yeah.
crazy.
So yeah, obviously did that. Got disheartened. In reality, again, do you know what it was? It's a bit as if I'm in, say, deja vu again when I did the eBay.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was like someone telling me not to do this again.
Yeah.
Do you get it? Like I get my hopes up, I want to do it, and then someone's bringing me back down. So went into, let's say, corporate world,
Yeah.
finance. Did
Oh,
a
so you
bit of
entered the workforce again.
yeah, went back
yeah,
into
yeah,
work
yeah,
again.
You completely left.
Because at that time when I was doing well in Amazon, I was basically getting rid of my clients for marketing
Yeah.
because I was like,
But it happens because you
yeah.
can see the vision.
because I
you
couldn't
wanna
I couldn't
grow it.
manage it everything. I was
Yeah,
managing
yeah,
all
yeah.
the VAs and then I was trying to basically grow another business on the side, but I was doing
Yeah.
it myself. It wasn't like I was getting because my idea was like, let's get a virtual assistant to manage my Amazon. All I'm doing is purchasing and making sure the products and the quality control and
You're
stuff.
basically going to automate it, wasn't you?
Automate it. That
Yeah,
was
yeah,
it.
yeah.
Because I pretty much automated when I was creating the listings, products research, etc. So yeah, did that. Went back into corporate world. Obviously, still wasn't at a loss. Still made money, even though I've got the products at home now. The thing is, I can't even sell them because
Crazy.
that's it. So
So as that product is not on Amazon yet as well, like it's completely
yeah,
been off the map since.
it's a product that got taken down. So obviously,
And has
I'm
been
sure
since,
it probably
hasn't it?
still
Yeah.
gets sold around the world, but
Yeah.
obviously you can't use it on third-party platforms like Amazon.
Yeah, yeah.
I even tried to sell the 200 on eBay back at that time.
Yeah.
Sold a couple on a Facebook Marketplace, and Facebook Marketplace was quite good. I was just flogging them for a $5. That's it, just getting the money back.
Yeah.
That's
And then
crazy.
Facebook Marketplace pulled it down, and then eBay
So
pulled it down.
everyone was basically hot on it.
Yeah, exactly. Because
which
what happened is,
which mad.
it's not the platform itself. You'd see a parent post that article to them,
Yeah.
and then that's where. Then obviously, if eBay see an article like that, they'll pull the list down because I could see other sellers selling on eBay. So I thought, okay, I just want my money back right now.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
not the fact that the product's bad.
You kind of
'cause
go
I-
into panic mode and
Yeah.
you think you just like,
Yeah.
just get rid of it.
Yeah, get rid of it.
Yeah.
Get my money back, or even take a small loss. At least I've got rid of them.
Yeah.
And it wasn't because I didn't want them. I was like, what am I going to do with 200 units? I'd rather get. And then what I started doing is giving it away. I just
Yeah,
give it to
yeah,
parents,
yeah.
going like, look, there's this article online. It's not actually the product, but you can have it for free because there's a lot of people around knew I had babies or knew that I had newborn. So I thought,
Yeah, yeah.
just have it. Do you get it?
Crazy.
And I still actually don't have that brand trademarked, but I still probably would use that in the future if I ever did private label again,
Yeah.
which is something we'll probably speak about later on. And then went into corporate, obviously fast forward a little bit, went into corporate world, become a finance broker, which again was big money was making. Do you know what I
Yeah.
mean? And I was making good money and equally probably spending it just as quick.
Yeah.
So wasn't saving, wasn't investing.
Yeah.
And I did that about 4 years. In the back of my mind, I was like, always wanted to carry on with Amazon. In my go-go, I should have done Amazon.
Yeah.
But then the money was too good being a broker. So imagine like raising like 100 grand and 20% of that is commission.
Wow.
Do you know what I mean? So
I might try
That's
that.
big.
yeah. So then obviously when you're getting those type of paychecks, you don't want to stop because
Yeah.
you sometimes feel invincible.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
But
yeah,
then
yeah.
again, reality hit me and I go, it's not sustainable, this job.
Mm.
This career is not sustainable. If I'm not on the phone, like speaking to investors, clients, getting new investment deals and stuff like that to present to clients, then I'm not making money. And sometimes what happened was some deals with it would be closed in a couple of days and you made 5-6 grand, and some would take 6 months to make 20 grand.
Yeah.
Do you get it? And although those checks are good, I was just like sometimes pulling my hair out because I was like, I have no sustainability. And the thing is, someone's always holding my future. Do you get it? Like, someone's always in control. I'm not in control of that.
You always have to work on a deal.
Yeah.
Or work on
So I'm not in
something.
control of it. And then fast forward a couple of years after that, I was working with another business partner, and I just said to him, I had a little bit of savings back then.
Yeah.
So what I did was, I thought, I've got nothing to lose here. Again, no responsibilities, just my kind of everyday expenses. I went, I'm going to go and do Amazon, which brings it to November last year.
Yeah. But it's crazy because your process to then go back into Amazon again.
And there's a reason because of COVID happened. And for 2 years, when COVID happened, investment market just plummeted. No one wanted to invest. Everyone was
100%.
scared. And then I thought, well, if this ever happens
people
again,
still are scared.
well, I had no income for nearly 2 years.
Yeah.
Get it? Luckily,
Yeah.
I saved money, but I couldn't spend it anyway because we had to all be at home.
And
So all I had was like gym memberships, daily expenses, monthly like cars and stuff like that. Do you get what I mean?
Yeah.
Little bits and bobs, and rent, for example. And then I thought, right, I need to do something that gives me sustainability, gives me a future, and more than anything else, gives me freedom. Yeah, like being an investment broker gave me freedom. But if I wasn't on the phone, I wasn't making money. So it had to be on my desk or somewhere with my laptop.
But your skills you've learned from doing that is probably why your wholesale success is so good.
Yeah, 100%. So that's obviously last year went, right, I'm going to not spin 20 pies at once. I'm going to go all in one thing. That's
Plates.
it. That's it. Oh, yeah, plate, sorry. We don't say pies in Liverpool either. And then, my Amazon journey started at the back end of November 2022.
Yeah.
And, what I did is, actually, I started with a bit of arbitrage.
Oh, so hang on, you've just done a year then?
Yeah,
Last month,
this last month, end of last, today's the first month of the year.
Wicked.
Yeah, so good day to do a podcast actually.
Yeah,
some of the
actually
results,
is, yeah.
some of the results I'll show you what I got last month is even I blew myself out there, and I'll go on to that later. So started that. Believe it or not, I started with a bit of arbitrage. Believe it or not, just used Jungle Scout. So I obviously bought all the tools like Jungle Scout, SAS. Only recently started using Keeper, let's say within the last 6 months.
Yeah.
And just happened to luckily hit 2 arbitrage products. One was a game, a Nintendo game, and one was some pet medicine. That's all it was. And I just managed to buy loads of it at the same time, and I just sent it. But I started as an FBM seller, believe it or not, because I didn't know how to do it. Because you got to remember, I went back into it and I was learning at the same time.
100%.
At this time, I didn't get a mentor or.
What is FBM? Just for people that don't know.
So fulfilled by merchant. So basically, you're just using the platform, and then when you get a sale, you're fulfilling it as a merchant yourself. So as a seller, you go and do the postage and things like that, and then.
So similar to eBay still.
Yeah, basically that's what use it to eBay basically. Yeah.
So just a curious question. So when you started Amazon the first time and to when you started it last year, was the platform different or did it all look?
No, you got to remember I did Amazon back in 2018.
Yeah.
So.
Because I didn't know anything about FBA back in 2015.
Yeah.
So I'm just guessing from what I only know what I know now.
Yeah,
so how different is it?
The platform at the back end is pretty much the same. They've just added extra features.
Rubbish.
It just looks dated, but obviously the model works. So why would they change it?
Yeah, definitely.
There's no point reinvent the wheel if a model works.
Exactly.
So in terms of interface, it's the same. It's just everything's just probably been rearranged a little bit.
Yeah.
It's to me it looks the same, but obviously coming back into the space after all those years, it was a new learning curve.
Yeah, definitely,
obviously, there's new marketplaces, new compliance, a lot more harder. For me, I've encountered a little bit of difficulty. Let's say, for example, when you actually sign up to Amazon Seller Central, obviously I've got a middle name, but all my legal documents don't have a middle name. So when I was signing up to it,
It's a pain.
oh my God, basically they asked me questions left, right and centre to the point where they wanted a copy of my birth certificate.
Yeah.
Because,
I think
and he suspended my
compliance,
account. So then obviously that's stressful. Straight away put me off going,
They're hot,
and then I had other people going, I don't trust Amazon or eBay because you're never in control of your business. And I thought, nah, because other people are making money. But when people are putting those little things in your head, trying to put you off, but I kind of just
You
push
got to
that
do what you want
yeah.
to do. There's going to be people that put you off, and there's going to be people that push you.
100%.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Find those right people.
But you just got to learn to
succeed.
ignore it because you follow your passion at the end of the day.
Exactly.
And I think for me, e-commerce has always been my passion. And so just started that, found the products, and did a bit of arbitrage. FBM'd it, and then what happened was I was getting actually complaints for slow shipping, even though I was using next day shipping by Royal Mail. Still getting complaints.
Yeah.
And then I went, well, how do I do send it to Amazon. Because obviously I had dangerous goods.
Yeah.
And again, I didn't know not to sell it. Well, you can and you cannot sell it. It's up to you. It's just obviously you just have to wear it costing. But because obviously
it's a different process to sending in.
Yeah,
duties,
exactly.
isn't it?
Yeah. You basically do the same process, but you do the shipping to the fulfillment center because it goes to a specific fulfillment center.
Yeah.
And then learned how to do it, and then they were flying straight away. I was like making 300 quid a day straight away, and I'm thinking, whoa, do you get what I mean? Not £300 profit.
And that's such a small change.
Yeah, but then obviously I was not VAT registered at the start. I obviously didn't know that my account was not set as non-VAT.
Yeah.
So I was getting charged VAT and all. And then it was someone I was speaking to, I can't remember who it was, on Instagram. And then basically goes, well, have you just started Amazon? I was like, yeah. He goes, well, tell Amazon that you're non-VAT. And any VAT that gets charged, you get to keep it all. So I did that, and my profit margin increased by 30%. Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
so I had a product that I purchased for, let's say, individually it was like 12 quid.
Yeah.
But I had to sell it as a pack of 2.
Yeah.
So I bundled it. 24 quid. I was selling for 50. And
wow.
One day.
I remember you told me about this listing.
Yeah. And the listing still exists. It's just hard to get the product.
Yeah.
I'd be a rich man if I could get the product. And so then I was selling it. Some days I managed to like order in total about 500 units.
So let's just break that down, right? So you're buying a product online.
Yeah.
So online arbitrage, right?
Yeah.
Bundling in a pack of 2.
Yeah.
For £12.
With a poly bag, yeah.
Yeah. So about £12, whatever, 20.
Yeah, it was cost me 10p a poly bag.
Selling it for £50.
Yeah.
Which is crazy.
Yeah.
Which is crazy.
And then obviously when you're non-VAT,
yeah,
I think it was working out like sometimes when I was hitting that 50 quid, because obviously it used to go down to like 45 quid. It was still very profitable. I think I was making something like 15 quid
per unit.
Per unit.
And you were doing 500 units.
Yeah.
That's insane.
So then
a month was that?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's crazy.
So then obviously the profits I was doing, I found a few other arbitrage deals, and then I basically did all that. And because it was Christmas time, I just went, I'm just going to go to them in toy shops and just get a load of toys. wasn't even in any Discords or any kind of community groups at this point. I was just doing it solo.
Yeah.
I thought, okay, I've got money behind me. The money I have behind me can make me survive and pay my bills for the next couple of months. So I had no worries there. So I thought, okay, let me go and do it. Let me learn. And then arbitrage was never my kind of end goal. It was just something that just fell on my lap by chance, I would say. And the products I found, basically just went to a load of toy shops. I went to
like
Smith Toys. I went to, basically what I did was seeing all the Smith Toys, seeing what products that I could buy, and then I basically just made a route and just went with my sister. So I told her, when you come with me,
drag her along.
Yeah, dragged along, and then basically bought all the stock in each shop. So maybe it might have took me a day, but then end up with like, let's say 500 units of stock.
Yeah.
And and I was just flipping it. That's all I was doing, flipping. But then again, long term, I said, this is not sustainable.
Yeah.
So then that's when it just happened. I started seeing things about wholesale.
Yeah.
So that's when I started looking more into it, and I basically got mentored. And basically, I knew in my head how it's done. I just thought, let me do someone's mentorship, because I like learning, and I like learning off people who are successful.
Yeah.
So there's no point me trying to learn it and spend months, because that months is time. Time is money.
Yeah.
You're leveraging time for money.
So that's all I did, and I thought, what's £1,000? There's a lot of people that meet, but to me, I had the affordability to do it.
Yeah.
If I can spend £1,000 to increase my knowledge and basically advance myself 6 months ahead of the game, that's valuable. Because 6 months down the line, what you're going to do?
It comes back to the situation you was in when you started that marketing job.
Yeah.
You obviously was getting paid for it, but you learnt the model, and then you went on to apply it yourself. And this is exactly what you're doing now. But instead of getting paid for it, you're paying someone to teach you it.
Exactly. So I knew in my head how the model is, because again, Amazon's logic.
Yeah.
Think about it. It's very straightforward. People who say it's hard, and it's really not. I personally believe it. I would never push someone to do a mentorship because you want to say it's really hard. You need to learn off someone. You can learn it online, but you just need the right guidance.
I think you can learn everything.
Yeah.
You're just going to waste time.
Yeah, exactly.
That's all it is. It's a time thing.
That's it.
Yeah.
And did the mentorship, and if that anything, I learned a little bit off the mentorship, but it just solidified what I already knew.
Yeah.
It didn't teach me anything in terms of what to do a bit more. But I did obviously have paid other people to do, let's say, consultation calls where they teach me advanced sourcing and things like that, which has leveled and increased my kind of experience in Amazon and got to me where I am today. Without all that help and paying for the resources, I probably would have been
Yeah.
where I first started.
So you started doing OA.
Yeah.
From November, December, January, you started doing wholesale,
Yeah.
looking into it.
Yeah.
So when did you actually place your first wholesale order?
It was
and how did you go about it? Was it from the mentorship? What kind of itinerary did you go through? Did you start going to suppliers, leveraging your network? I know we spoke quite a bit about how you did that.
So originally what I
into
did was
wholesale?
I basically just started what I've been taught in the mentoring, applied to wholesalers, going through their stock lists, used the tools like Jungle Scout and SAS. One of the mentors basically taught me a 5-point check system, how to manually analyse a listing. And if you didn't have the tools, you could use that analysis and place a test order, which is a very good method, to be honest, fair play. And I still use that today, while obviously I'm able to kind of have an eye for detail. If I look at a listing, I can tell straight away whether that's going to be a good listing to sell or not. But sometimes I just kind of do extra due diligence.
So if you want to know more about wholesale from Rakesh, you'll be taking on more entries in 2024 January. And message us on Instagram, FBAVAULT, link in the bio.
So yeah, placed my first order in Feb
2023,
so this year. And it's only a small order, probably about £1,000, including VAT. And did that, replanned it for a couple of months. And then at that point, I was still doing a bit of away there.
Well, how are you feeling when you placed your first order? Were you scared to spend the money?
Yeah, I was at the start because it's a new territory. Think about it. 100%. It's like, you want
a lot of money.
Yeah, exactly.
You know
and then
I mean?
Obviously you're reading data, but you just don't know how accurate that data is.
Yeah,
you can read the numbers saying this much sales, this much profit. Obviously being non-VAT, you obviously nice juicy margins, nice ROI, and obviously I'm using the techniques that I've learned, but applying my own kind of skills to it, which I could kind of develop my own, let's say, strategies that work for me. And I'm more than happy to teach other people, mentor other people the same strategies that I apply, because again, there's so many products out there, there's so many listings that I can't take over every single one. So anyone else who be's mentored can easily start a side hustle, whether they want to make a couple £100, £1,000, depends where they want to go with it, to be honest, what their goal is. But just apply the knowledge that I teach you, and you should be able to do exactly what I've done. Especially this Q4, I've done some mad numbers, which we'll carry on going at, which I'll talk about later on. So place my first order. At the start, it was as exciting it was scary, because again, I'm ordering, I think I ordered 300 units of one ASIN, and obviously not ever being able to do that.
That is a lot for a first order, because normally people do 30 units, let's test it out. So you went straight in with
straight away, and I
units.
just used my gut. I did an analysis and thought, I don't want to waste time testing 30 units here, 30 units there, and doing it across 5-6 ASINs. I just found this one ASIN and smashed it, and it just started flying, and I went, bloody hell. I went, oh, happy days. I got them from a bug back, and I was just like hyped up. And then what I was doing was sourcing, and believe it or not,
the good thing is your value is in knowing that was a good
well, that basically solidified going, well, I've done analysis correctly. I said everything I've been taught, I've applied that knowledge and applied my own knowledge to it.
100%.
And then done that, and I thought,
100%.
well, I know what I'm doing now. And then basically started sourcing, and I actually got a VA at the time. Again, obviously because I got this required, sometimes obviously getting a VA so early on, it wasn't me about scaling. I just thought, let me get a VA to help me source products.
Just double your time?
No, what it wasn't sourcing products. It was applying to all the wholesalers, because that takes time.
So the VA that you got, was it you were using a monthly, or was it like just one task like you was doing before?
No, I just basically said I want...
this is my script.
Or
whatever, however you...
No, so that basically goes, I want 100 wholesalers by the end of the month. That's it.
Okay.
25 wholesalers a week. Apply to them. Here's all my details. And all the wholesalers, if it's someone you have to ring on the phone, you'd write on a sheet going, please call this one up. And if the ones I had to call up, I call them, because obviously they don't want to speak to someone who's foreign. And anyone that needs to be applied online, doing like an application or something, because he's got all my information, I basically just said, it's not like information that you can't find anywhere. It's all found online. When you've got a limited company, you can find all that information.
We was touching on this in the community call last week about VAs and how important it is to communicate with them on a daily basis when you set them a task. So when you was setting the VA the task to go and find these wholesalers, was you catching up with them every day, or was it every week?
Nah, I just look on the sheet.
Just look
Yeah,
on
yeah.
their sheet.
because it's an admin job at the
Yeah,
end of the day.
documentation,
It's not
very,
something that
very
I need to have a
important,
call
yeah.
with all the time, unless they needed help.
Yeah.
And,
You
or
basically set the email template,
Yeah.
set the script, whatever you're
yeah,
going to
that's
say,
it. That's
and
it.
they'll just communicate saying,
Yeah,
call
well, they'll
this,
just put it on the sheet every
and
day.
you'll do
If, as
it.
long as they hit 25
And you'll
a
just
week,
assess
that's
their
fine.
work.
Let's assess their
Yeah,
work,
yeah,
and
yeah.
then just started applying, and then just going through their stock list.
Yeah.
I can quickly run through stock lists.
yeah.
Only
Especially
recent,
with softwares out there like
yeah, but
Scanner,
that's only
whatever,
yeah, but I've only recently found out this
Oh, so
software.
it's all manual.
I was all doing everything
Yeah.
manual, believe it or
Wow.
not. Yeah,
Yeah.
going through thousands of
and
thousands of
there
products.
is crazy amount.
Yeah,
of
exactly. And
products
then
on those
obviously
lists.
that's when I started thinking, okay, there must be software because
Yeah.
I had one list with 5,000 different products on it, and I was like, how the hell am I going to scan through this? Going to waste too much time. Even though I had about February, I had one ace in. By probably 3 months after that, I had about 6,
Yeah.
and I was replanning them. And then in that period, I got IP strikes. I got this. I got authenticity strikes. I had
I
to get
remember
an
you telling
LOA.
when we met,
Yeah.
that you were like, "Oh, I had all of this."
Yeah,
Sorry to interrupt. And then when I said, "Send me the ASIN,"
yeah.
and what did I say to you?
This is a private label product.
Yeah.
Even though
The
other people,
first thing-
yeah, and obviously at that point, that's the only thing probably I wasn't taught or learn how to figure out. Obviously, Jazz kindly showed me.
Yeah. This is the importance of networking.
Yeah, and
literally.
Yeah, obviously now apply my own strategy to it with obviously Jazz's kind of, let's say, a little bit of golden gem insight. I can fully analyze a product now and figure out, and I'll probably avoid stuff like that straight away, even if it looks appealing and there's other sellers on it. I would not. I just stay away. There's no point risking it. And believe it or not, I'm not just talking about my success in wholesale from February onwards. Obviously, having IP strikes, stressful. Obviously,
Painful.
when you do mentorship, none of this gets explained. No one tells you about the bad stuff. But I believe it's very, very important to talk about this. It's very important to teach people this because it's reality at the end of the day.
100%.
There's no point living in this fake world where, it's always about sales, making money, extra 500 quid, because you'll face these problems, no doubt. Obviously, my first, let's say, problem was when I was doing FBM and I was getting complaints, and then your score keeps going down on your Seller Central.
You have to
And your
keep
performance
your
score.
IPI.
Yeah.
IPI is it? IPI score?
No, performance index. or
Performance index.
Oh,
No,
I'm
that's-
thinking about something else.
The health index over
Yeah,
200.
yeah, something like
the
that.
health
Yeah.
index.
Very
Yeah.
something. Yeah.
important.
So once it
You've
goes
gotta-
below
gotta keep
that,
Yeah.
you
going.
got amber and red. If it goes
Always
amber,
keep it in the green. Always.
And obviously, to give you a little bit of value, when you, let's say, get a strike, if you get 3 IP strikes within the first 6 months, you can actually accept those strikes and they'll be taken off your account.
Yeah.
Amazon will kind of give you a bit of leeway there. Same with authenticity strikes. So any kind of strikes, there must be about 6 or 7, I think, different type of ones. The most common ones you'll get is IP, intellectual property.
Oh, the compliance
yeah.
request. Yeah, there's like 7.
And then
of
there's
them, I
another
think,
one which is authenticity. So when people complain thinking the product's not authentic.
Yeah.
Um,
Well, if any of you guys out there have the same issues, we can actually help you at FBA Vault. Just drop us a DM,
Yeah.
and we can.
And I'm
help
more than
you
happy
with
to kind of give
scripts.
you my templates as
Exactly.
well. Yeah,
Yeah,
because I've got templates now that I've made that work. They're quick for me.
We even have the free
100%.
support ticket in the FBAVOLT because we understand the serious.
Yeah.
Serious
Well, it's
of
something
IP
that
because it
can
remove
put you
your
off.
account.
It's
Yeah,
not
yeah.
that. Your account can be suspended,
Yeah.
put on hold,
Your
and
money
obviously,
on hold, which
yeah,
is
exactly,
the worst thing.
yeah, exactly. And if that happens, or your product gets, if you got an authenticity strike, your products get held, and if you can't prove it's real,
They've been it.
they bin them.
Yeah.
So if you've got £1,000 worth of stock, and you can't prove it, even though you know it's legit,
Yeah.
and this is where, again, finding a reputable wholesaler who can provide genuine invoices within Amazon's kind of compliance and policies, because there's some wholesalers that provide invoices,
Yeah.
genuine ones, but Amazon don't accept them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I had this scenario with an
Yeah.
an IP that I received, and I went back to. I'll tell you what it was. It was actually the Royal Mail stamps, and I went back to Royal Mail and I said, "Look, I'm selling these products on Amazon, so I'll require a business invoice." And they gave me the invoice, and Amazon wasn't accepting it. And what actually was is that I didn't buy the labels on a business account,
Yeah.
so they couldn't give me the business invoice. It was only giving me the invoice on the personal purchase.
Okay.
And Amazon wasn't accepting it, and I went back to Royal Mail. I was transparent with them. I told them everything, and they was like, "Look, sorry, we can't give you the business invoice because it wasn't purchased from a business account."
Yeah.
So it's like an eye opener for me. So now
Yeah.
every time I purchase something, I try to always check if they have a business section where I can apply on the business account, and then I can always get a business invoice because Amazon are very, very picky.
Yeah. So I think part of, I don't know, in terms of mentorship, who does this, but I think it's a very good opportunity to learn about this, and something that I would 100% teach within the mentorship about the compliance and things like that, because the amount that it crops up, I've cropped up. Luckily, touch wood, I've not had anything recently.
Yeah.
Maybe the last one I had was maybe a couple of months ago, but it was an authenticity strike, and I think that was not actually a customer complaining. It was actually Amazon, because I'm shifting that many units. I think they've just basically requested.
With wholesale, you're sending in that much volume.
Yeah.
Out of 500 units you send in, there might be one thing complaining.
But it's not sometimes that.
Thing,
It's just Amazon doing their policy, compliance
just
check.
Saying,
are you selling legit stuff?
I understand why they're doing it as well, because they're the face.
They're protecting their brand at the end of the day, which is fine. Yeah. But there was a case, and I'm going to be totally transparent. There was a product that I was selling, and I was buying from a supplier, and then I just happened to come across that same product on eBay, so another third marketplace.
Yeah.
You think everything on eBay is real.
Yeah.
So I actually bought...
We do not support eBay.
And I'm not condoning this at all, even though you can buy stock.
Yeah.
And I'll go why you shouldn't do it. I was selling, obviously, this certain product in thousands of units, buying from a supplier at a price. I was getting on eBay for 50% cheaper. So obviously, I went, happy days.
There's always a reason though.
Yeah, and then obviously sometimes you don't think, because you're in that high, you go, I'm going to buy it because I'm shifting this.
When you're on SAS, you type it in and you see 60%.
So basically,
like,
I ordered, and this guy said, I can give you 300 units. How many do you want? And I went, well, if I'll do 300 units of this one ASIN, within the next day, it was on my door. And I was like, all right, happy days. Labelled it up, sent it out on the same day.
And I'm guessing the product must have looked perfect.
Yeah, it was perfect. And for the first 300 sold, no complaints. Ordered another 300. Didn't want to do 1,000 straight away. Sent them in, sold them straight away. And I was like, bloody hell. I went, all right, I'm going to do 1,000. Ordered 1,000 units. And then as I received that, I got one customer complaint saying, these are fake. And Amazon pulls the listing down, saying, prove that this is real. And I'm like, oh, no way. I've just bought all this stock. Luckily I've sold all the other stock, but it's not good, because at the same time going, if I start getting refunds like mad, I went in panic mode saying my account's going to get suspended. Luckily, what I did was basically, when I got that, I ripped the email out, went back to eBay and went, this guy's selling me fake stuff.
Yeah.
Luckily, got all 1,000 units returned, refunded.
That's
yeah. And then I basically made a deal with the seller and said, look, I'm not going to take anything legal. If I get any more refunds about this stock, you'll reimburse me all the money.
Yeah.
And the seller agreed to do it, luckily.
I was going to say, that's quite rare.
Yeah.
Normally they just say sold as whatever.
But he had that was a risk of my account getting taken down. Once your account gets taken down, you can't just open another company and do it again.
You can't.
And you don't want to start opening companies in someone else's name and doing that. It's not the way to do business. So luckily, touch wood, that was a lesson learned. Do not go to third-party platforms. Buy from genuine wholesalers.
Yeah, exactly.
They could, because the guy couldn't even provide me a genuine invoice.
Yeah.
And I tried to submit the payment receipt.
Just get the standard eBay invoice.
PayPal and that, but Amazon don't accept that because they can't prove that that's a genuine product. So obviously, when you go to a wholesaler, they've obviously got VAT numbers and they've got all the licenses to be a wholesaler, etc. And they've got I managed to get an LOA for the same stock I was buying.
Letter of authority.
Letter of authority. Signed by like a director and written. It's only a few words on there. It doesn't have to be a lengthy letter, but it's obviously the company just basically saying that my account buys authentic goods from this company, from this wholesaler and supplier. And that was kind of an eye opener, saying when it's too good to be true, don't do it.
It's very tempting, but it's not worth it.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm assuming when you got that email, your heart kind of sank.
Yeah, exactly.
To think, damn, I'm now kind of back in. A pickle. Yeah.
So then, let's say from February to August, I was roughly doing about 5 to 10k in revenue. Yeah. Averaging like that, with probably about.
Were you seeing month on month
30
growth?
to 35% margin. So obviously, if you make 10 grand,
that's crazy.
You're making 3 to 3.5 a month. If you're making 5, it's half of that. And it was up and down. It was no consistency.
Yeah.
And maybe I think at that point is, as everyone knows, Amazon's a lonely journey. It's a solo game, innit?
Yeah.
It doesn't matter if you have virtual assistants, if you're in the office on your own or in a coffee shop or wherever you're working, you've not got people around you. And I think a few times, that's when my mind said, like, I need to start networking, because I started following other people and they had small groups within themselves. They were all separate Amazon sellers. They weren't in business with each other, but they seemed to work together. So then I went, I'm going to start following. I started following random people doing Amazon.
Yeah.
And then that motivated me going, well, if they're doing it, I can do it.
Yeah.
Get it?
No,
I'm at this level
yeah.
now, like just spiky like this. And then obviously, I think I reached out to FBA. I think it was FBA Sing appealed to me.
Yeah.
Not because we're Asian, just it was just a catchy name on it.
Yeah.
And
Mate,
Reels
it's
we put out.
It's the best name on Instagram.
I think I seen your success story, a
Yeah.
podcast of yours actually, and again that kind of inspired me going because you did a lot of retail and online arbitrage, and that's when I went, all right, he's doing it by this method. I want to do wholesale because I like wholesale because I don't want to have 100 ASINs and buy 2-3 of each unit.
Yeah.
It just doesn't work. That model for me doesn't work. So I prefer to have 20, let's say, which I've got, let's say, in my current, and I'd rather buy 500 of that stock, one ASIN, 1,000 units, couple hundred, and I know I'm okay. Like, that will last me for a period of time.
100%.
I'm not having to go out or look online and look every day. For me, wholesale model works purely. And but I'm not saying that OA and RA is not good, because each method works for everyone individually.
Yeah.
So up until that point, I think I reached out to you. I think you created like a small group on Telegram.
Yeah.
Like basically, I think you want to start your own community, and I
Yeah.
joined that. And you actually put out something about fuel card. Yeah. So that's how we started speaking. Started speaking about fuel card, and it didn't go anywhere. And then basically, you started putting stuff about leads. And then I reached out to you a couple of times, and you ignored me.
Yeah, I remember he was on a phone call one time,
Yeah.
and he was like, "That
I don't know who I was
DM'd us again."
I don't know who I
yeah.
was speaking to, but
Yeah.
I didn't obviously have to know time that you two shared the same Instagram.
Yeah.
So then obviously you ignoring me. And then I don't know how we got connected. I think it's just randomly Instagrammed you. I think
Yeah.
you sell like basically offloading some stock or something.
Maybe.
Yeah, potentially.
I think I couldn't get gated on the stock or something.
Yeah, something like that. And then basically I just kind of reached out to you saying, well, you need to do this. And literally, it was from that DM, you phoned me.
Yeah.
The one thing about you is you're not going to chat. Is I what's your number? And then we literally just had a phone call, and the rest is that's when I've scaled now to the point where like August came, and I think
a lot of people get surprised at that when they contact us. Is that we don't like to text. It's one of these.
Yeah.
Here's my number. Ring me.
Yeah, exactly.
Here's my
Always.
number.
But that's the best way to do it.
So many
Yeah.
people that message us saying, let's schedule a meeting.
No, just ring me
And I'll
now.
just send the number. I'll say, yeah, ring me now.
Ring me now. Just ring.
I
me.
don't know.
They put
need
schedule.
for
Yeah,
professional.
Urgency. We want
Yeah.
quick.
Yeah, exactly.
Do it on the spot. Yeah.
So,
no one acts with speed. You know what I mean?
As I said, between Feb and August, I was doing 5 to 10k. Obviously, met you guys, joined a community with like-minded, and I don't know what it was. I've just literally in the first in September scaled to 12 grand
Yeah.
with about, I think at that point was 27% margin.
when you say that you don't know what it is, it's so true, isn't it?
Yeah.
When you say that,
I
because
can't pinpoint what it is, but I
Yeah.
think just being around people who've got the same energy as you,
literally, yeah,
same energy,
Yeah.
same mindset, and most importantly, okay, I think within our group or this community that I'm in, let's say FBA Vault, no one's secretive. No
Yeah.
one's gonna.
Yeah, we are quite
like,
open.
like I'm open. Let's say, for example, because we're in this community, I'm open with some of the products that I've got. Like I'm not
Yeah.
scared. The only reason is because I'm not scared. I went, none of you will be able to get it. That's it.
Yeah.
That's it. I'm gonna be
Yeah,
honest.
fair
I can
play.
tell you
Yeah.
my ASINs. I guarantee you won't be able to get it.
Yeah.
Yeah, because the connections that I've got around me. It's not just about wholesalers. It's about think outside the box.
Yeah.
So I'm going to tell you one thing. Think about the people around you. Think of your friends. Who are your friends? Are they professionals? Are they medics? Whatever. Leverage that.
Yeah.
What do you mean by leverage by that? Well, can you get an account by your friend? Can you get an account by a family member? Can you get stock in? Because if you can't get directly from a wholesaler, think outside the box.
Yeah.
And that's what I've been able to do. Most of my wholesalers, some of them are direct that I've got, some of them are not.
Yeah.
And the ones that aren't, that's where I'm cash cowing on.
Yeah.
Get it? And that's where I can leverage, and that's how I've scaled.
Yeah.
And obviously, you guys have obviously helped me open some doors, believe it or not, which you guys know anyway, and I'm thankful for that and grateful. Being part of FBA Vault is a massive
It's
opportunity.
great to have you on board, honestly. Yeah.
And I think you guys have pushed me maybe even obviously to do my wholesale mentorship. I mean, I already started writing it all down and doing it, but if I hadn't met yous, my plan was to do it next year. But I've already obviously started my first intake.
Yeah, I
last
wanted
week.
to add as well how you said that Amazon's a lonely game. So I just wanted to give you a shout out for that, because I like how you've made your wholesale community. You've made it into a team.
Yeah.
And it doesn't feel as lonely when you're doing the wholesale
Yeah,
work.
yeah.
So I've got to give you a shout out for that. I
Nice
can't
one.
lie.
Thank you.
So yeah, it is a lonely game, but it's important when you're networking to create that.
Yeah,
team
I
and
think
move forward,
think about applying to wholesalers, growing your business. It's a byproduct. It's about the people around you, people who want to support you, people who want you to do well, and you want the people around you to do well. There's a thing I read, you've actually listened to the other day, and if your friends aren't wanting to do the same thing as you, find other people that do. Because
you're going to find someone like me who rings you every morning.
yeah, exactly.
At 6 a.m. saying, why are you in bed?
Because it can be.
And that's the answer he gives me.
Yeah, I just woke up to £1,500 profit. It's 9 a.m. I'm going to go back to bed for another hour.
But you know
or
what?
so.
It's not enough.
Yeah.
It's
It's
true.
not.
It is never enough.
It's never enough.
Like, so go back to some, like, kind of, let's say, stats.
Yeah.
I'll actually pull it up on my phone now.
Show us those figures. What
So obviously, let's say from February to August, I was
Yeah.
doing 5 to 10k. I think in August I did 8k.
Yeah.
Met
Revenue.
you guys, revenue, yeah.
Yeah.
Met you guys, joined the community, got the buzz, got my mojo back. Let's say I had my
Yeah.
mojo anyway, but when you with people who are doing really well, you want to do as
Yeah,
well
yeah,
as them.
yeah.
So obviously, from 8k, hit 11.5k in revenue,
Yeah.
and made that was on 34% ROI to 2,100 quid profit.
Yeah.
So obviously, the last time I probably made that was probably January, February.
Yeah, yeah.
Do you get
yeah.
what I mean?
So starting to incline, basically.
Yeah, and then obviously, this is the juicy bit now. So
show us the juicy stats.
So October, obviously that's my birthday month. I set myself a goal. I wanted to hit 30k. No, I think I wanted to hit 25. I think I said double it, didn't I? To you, I went 25k. I want to hit
Rev,
yeah.
And doubling it is not easy to do.
It's not.
Yeah, yeah.
So luckily, when I said I leveraged my connections,
Yeah.
I thought outside the box. I went, who can I use? And literally, that was my golden ticket.
Yeah.
Literally, I basically set
got
myself.
hungry.
I got hungry. Yeah.
Yeah.
I did just shy of 36 grand in sales. Look, you can see
Wow.
it there. If you can see it.
Yeah.
35.8, let's say.
Screenshot that. We'll
Yeah.
clip it in.
And then I did 9,589 pound in gross profit.
Wow.
That's crazy.
That's under 10k.
That is
So obviously,
That's huge.
that gave me a buzz going to my birthday month.
Yeah.
Made to under 10k profit. Then I got even more hungry. I was like, right, I want to hit over 10k. My goal was 10k profit. So I was there shy of, let's say, 400 quid. Yeah, £400. So can you guys have a guess what I did in November?
November.
So wait, what figure did you just give us for the sale then?
9.5.
Put in profit.
Yeah.
Yeah, but what was the sale though that you done?
Just under 36.
Just under 36.
Yeah.
Oh, so
So
the
things
following
to-
month, I'm saying, I want to
45k, 50k.
I want to go
Rev?
confident, an exact figure. I want to say you done 43,000 in sale. What is it?
Jazz is more closer, so
Ah.
I did.
I'm say about 50,
Mate,
like 11k profit.
So okay, I did 57.5
Wow.
in revenue
That
with
it's impressive.
15.1 in gross profit.
is crazy.
15.1.
Yeah, 15.1. So
I need to applaud. you for
and the
that,
reason
mate.
is,
honestly,
and
mate.
I'll tell
Yeah.
you, and I'll tell you why I've done that. So for me, my strategy is because don't want to pull money out. I'm literally replenishing the stock I can get,
Yeah.
not pulling any profit out.
Just compounding that money.
Just
Yeah,
compounding
yeah,
it.
yeah.
That is crazy.
Yeah, and then obviously today being first of,
Let's have a look for today.
let's have a look for today.
Mate, honestly, that's very impressive.
So today is I've done 1.5,
Yeah.
and it's
Sale.
sale 1.5.
Crazy.
I did that by 12
So we're
actually.
13 hours into the day,
Yeah, and,
you've already done that.
325 quid in profit. Oh, yeah.
320.
Yeah,
That's
that's
crazy.
VAT reg,
That is-
VAT regged as well.
And you know what? That is the power
Yeah.
of wholesale.
Yeah, and that is across 3 ASINs.
Wow.
I've got
Wow.
20, 3 ASINs are mine. So you can just see the power, like why I like wholesale is
Yeah.
because I can replen my most selling ones
Yeah.
really quickly. The money I'm getting, I'm buying double the stock every time. If I can buy it, I know I'm going to flog that stock. And because obviously I've got certain documentation, let's say letter of approval,
Yeah,
letter
yeah,
of
yeah.
authority, and all the correct invoices, where I've had in certain times, let's say Amazon want to just cross-check to see if I'm selling authentic products, I submit it and basically just get them to approve it. And just kind of give you a little bit of value is when you have an invoice, don't just submit one invoice, check, let's say whenever you've got that strike or the compliance check on that date how many
Yeah.
you've sold in that period of time between that point and anything back. So let's say you've sold 500 units, don't just submit an invoice with 200, because what Amazon going to say is that's not enough because what you've sold against what you're showing us doesn't match up.
Okay.
So if you've got every single invoice, just submit them all. And what they'll just do is sometimes you might reject it because you get lazy people on admin staff, which is just, they just fail it for no reason.
Well, I'll share with you some secret sauce.
Yeah.
If you submit an invoice after 9 p.m, it'll get auto accepted. And that's even for ungating products.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because they're different staff after 9 p.m. in the evening.
It makes sense.
Yeah. So sometimes you'll find if you're trying to ungate a product out there, 9 p.m, after 9 p.m, it should just go straight through.
So if it's an authenticity strike and it says no impact, just basically figure out how many you've sold for that ASIN,
just
submit and send it in, and should be. And if they don't at that point require a letter of authority, but certain big brands, obviously there's a lot of counterfeit products out there. Yeah. Sometimes Amazon may ask for that.
It is important.
Yeah, it's important, and if you can get one from your wholesale, if you can get one from a brand directly, you can, but 9 out of 10 times you can't unless you've got an account with them. Yeah. But then if there's a big wholesaler or it's a distributor, they're always willing to give you one. If you've got built a good, but make sure you build a relationship with your client manager or your buying manager, whoever it is, because you can give them a phone call saying Amazon requested this, and 9 out of 10 times certain wholesalers I go to and get it within minutes. Signed copy, like they written it out, signed it, scanned it back in and sent me. Whereas if you haven't got a relationship and you're just going through email to email, you're going to be pillar to post, and then you're going to be fighting a war, and the next thing your listing's gone down, and then you've lost 2-3 weeks worth of sales before it gets pulled back in.
Exactly.
So obviously I've done this type of revenue now, and my main thing is just to grow and showcase those results and show people that.
Well, that is exactly what I was asking.
I'm at a point now where I'm happy to mentor people. I'm wanting to mentor people because there's so much opportunity out there, and the skills and experience that I've built up and developed, I'm happy to pass that knowledge on. And I'm going to say it, and I'll keep saying to you guys, Amazon's not hard. It's not hard. Yeah, does it require money? Yeah, it requires money, but that's it down to you. If you've only got £1,000 to invest into the business, grow with £1,000. Yeah. If you've got, let's say, for example, I started the business with and threw 35 grand into stock eventually. Do you know what I mean? And I've just basically keep compounding it. So 100%. That 35 gone to 50. I bought 50 grand worth of stock. Unless, obviously, minus all my kind of business expenses, but don't touch it for personal stuff because I want to reach a certain level before I start pulling out, because I don't need to use the money. Do you understand? My main thing is just focus on the business. Don't focus on lifestyle.
I think where people get it wrong is that when people say, "Oh yeah, start with £1,000." Yeah, start with £1,000. If you want to grow your business, just add in an extra 100 as months go on.
Yeah, well, think about it. It depends your goal at the end of the day. If your goal is to make a couple £100 a month,
do you want a side hustle?
Yeah.
Do you want to leave your job?
Yeah, exactly.
Like, you can't put 1,000 in and make 100 grand.
And one thing I would kind of again, just to kind of say out there is, do it with full-heartedly. Don't do it half and half. If you're going to do it, I say always get a mentor. Yeah. You're going to fast track. So even if you're
going to save time and money from experience.
And you might, like, there's over 20 different sourcing methods that I can teach you. Yeah. I don't use all 20 because I don't need to. Yeah. But you might pick 2 or 3 out of the 20 I teach you and mentor 100%. You. And that might work for you. But another 2-3, that same 2-3 might not work for someone else. It's just how your eye for detail is. Exactly. I can teach you and guide you, and it's down to you at the end of the day. Yeah. How you do it. It's not about putting loads of hours in and stuff like that and things like that. It's just finding the knack for it. If you 100%. Find a knack for it and be taught by the right mentor, and I don't see why you shouldn't fail. Like if everything I teach, and I've obviously taught you guys some stuff, I think it's helped you guys, hasn't it? Yeah. Yeah. And then you bounced. Obviously, us being in the community, we're happy to share our successes. So if something's worked for you, let's say I've taught you a method and it's worked for you, I was like, how'd you do it? And you're happy to teach me it back. 100%. I'm not here got an ego and pride to say I'm the master, because I want to learn every day. I'm learning every day. I'm paying other people to teach me.
100%.
Do you get it? So start somewhere. I would say start your journey somewhere, find a mentorship, but equally not just a mentorship, find a community around that mentorship. So let's say, I'm not here to sell FBAVAULT, for example, but it's been the pinnacle for my success. So
100%.
That's
Thank
because
that.
No worries. And that's all I say is, like, and don't give up. Yeah. Like, obviously I've told you there's certain parts of my journey, let's say back in 2018, where had I carried on, I may have never even touched wholesale. Wholesale's working for me because of the connections I've made. Yeah. Some of it's taken me 8 months. Yeah, and I've made money here and there, but I want to make the 20, 30 grand a month. Do you get it? I want to scale. Do you get it? My goal is to eventually go back into private label, and eventually showcase my private label journey, and then hopefully one day have private label mentorship as well. But the reason I want to do that is, again, scaling a private label product. I know obviously wholesale is the focus of it. Private label is my end goal, because at the end of the day, my end goal is to sell the business. I mean,
Cool.
Yeah.
So, last question, and we wrap up. What has 2024 got in store for you?
I want to hit £500,000.
Wicked. And
Yeah.
you will.
You
Oh yeah,
will.
100%.
And you will.
100%.
I'll probably exceed that, and I will, because of what I've done last month. And if I keep reinvesting,
100%.
that's what probably one thing I'd say: reinvest. Don't be tempted to pull your money out and go on these holidays. And I'm not telling you not to do it,
Yeah.
but the more you capitalise on it, the more you compound it, the quicker you're going to get to scale. And then
100%.
you might end up realising yourself going, I just want to leave my job,
Yeah.
or I want to do this full time. How can I do it?
Exactly.
And you build your own goals, set some goals aside, and kind of just do it in your own strategy. And I'd say, and I reinforce it, have a community, get into a community, and do some sort of mentorship. That's all I would say.
Wicked. Right. I think that's a natural close, and we will hopefully get you on for your year 2 next year. So thank you, Rakesh, for
No
coming
problem.
down.
Thank you very much for having me.
And
great to have you on.
Thank you, mate.
there we go. I think we're done, guys.
Thanks for tuning in, guys.
Thank you.